Bapak-bapak dan ibu-ibu yang saya hormati, honorable speakers, especially Mrs. Priyanka Chatterjee, right? Okay. Welcome back to the international webinar for journal editors, improving journal towards Scopus indexing. I am again chairing the session. The presentation for this session is delivered by Ms. Priyanka. She is going to give presentation entitled Digital Commons for Journal Management. And as usual, before giving a presentation, let me introduce her briefly. Ms. Priyanka Chatterjee works as Solution Sales Manager for Digital Commons at Bepres Elsevier. In her role, she works closely with senior academic leaders, library communities, and scholarly networks understanding the research need while aligning appropriate solutions that best meet the desired outcome. She is based in Singapore and networks across APAC region, Asian Pacific region, driving the value of digital commons and repurposing the concept around institutional repositories, journal publishing, impact metric, etc. Okay, please join me to welcome Ms. Priyanka.
Thank you, Mr. Slamin. That was a very nice introduction. I'm very obliged. Thank you, everyone, for coming for this session and helping us to showcase and present digital commons to all of you. I have a very difficult task in hand. You all just had lunch and you must be so full, and I have to keep you awake for the next 1 hour that I'll do my presentation. I promise you to make it as engaging as possible, as interesting as possible. So let's start first to understand who we are. What is Digital Commons? What do we do? Digital Commons is a leading online publishing solution that has helped hundreds of institutions, societies, and journals improve their global visibility and impact. It combines submission management and peer review software with an engaging interface optimized for readership and discoverability. Journals who have been using Digital Commons benefit from dramatically reduced workloads and turnaround time from article submission to publication, full hosting, support, and custom design, and far greater discoverability and readership. We have been in the market in publishing, working with editors for more than 20 years now. Digital Commons became part of Elsevier's research solution offering in 2017. We have housed many journals, more than 2,000 journals across different fields, as you can see from the screen, from different subject areas. Before we deep dive into the details of Digital Commons, I thought it's very important that we look and be part of the journey of a journal from a very broad perspective. As I said, Digital Commons has housed more than 2,000 journals so far, and many of them have been already indexed in Scopus. I thought it's very important that we share with you how our offering from Digital Commons is aligned to the journey that a journal takes right from the time it has been launched. So let's start when you first bring the journal on board, when you first launch the journal. Digital Commons, because it is an excellent cloud-hosted platform, it offers a full spectrum of support in creating and launching one of the most professionally beautiful journals. As an online publishing platform, it's a hosted and branded website, and it offers you with a URL for your journal. It has a professional web design, support all languages, it automatic publishing to the web in volume and issue format. It includes support for special collections, multiple content type, letters, replies, custom citations, and it automatically converts articles to a professional PDF layout with customizable headers, footers, and custom designed cover pages. Why don't I take you to one of these journals? And it gives me great pleasure to actually show you a journal which is from University of Indonesia. Bear with me as we go to their site and have a look at this journal. So this is Makara Journal of Science, and they have actually migrated from their previous platform to Digital Commons platform. This is their new design. As you can see that we have a very nice layout. You have a very robust URL here. The journal home, all the details of the journals are captured on this page. And most interesting part, which is probably getting downloaded here, is the readership map, which will be opening in front of you soon. You can have all your issues, collections, which are part of, which can be archived in Digital Commons. You can also have special issues. If you have special issues, you can have it here. We also provide you with Creative Commons license. Let's have a look at some of the, we'll go at the journal homepage. So when you look at the journal homepage, you have these, the current volume is displayed in front of you. And this is what you get. This is a readership map. Now, what is a readership map? What does it provide you? It gives you with an amazing visualized capturing of your readers that are reading and accessing your content of the journal. As am I presenting, you can see that this is a real-time download which is happening. These downloads have been filtered, so we make sure that we use the industry-leading method to filter downloads from bots, from spiders, from crawlers, and we actually represent and reflect the real-time downloads from humans across the world. So for this particular journal, so far there has been 143 papers. It has been downloaded more than 3,000 times, and you can see the downloads which are happening. These articles which are being read. So this gives you an insight into the readership. Now let's look at some of the most popular papers of this journal. The best part about having your journal on Digital Commons is that you have access to so many impact metrics. We showed you the readership map, which is at the journal level. Now, what we are showing you is that at the article level, we have rolled out the Plumex metric. What is a Plumex metric? It is a tool which gathers all the different data that is coming from interaction which is happening with this paper by the researcher community. It captures these data from 5 different categories. So we look at the dashboard, we will see that if there has been any social media reference, the number of downloads, captures, all that will be in front of you for you to have a view. So from where the usage is coming, the bibliographic details. If there had been any social media reference like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, that would also have been captured here. You would also get citation information, which is coming from Crossref, from Scopus and PubMed Central, which will be captured by Plumex, and it will be shown to you for your article. We also have all these plugins which are here, which helps you to, like Twitter, live commenting and RSS feeds from blogs and other websites. We also have streamlining audio and video and include supplemental files of any format that we allow. So we have native streaming capability that helps you to streamline your multimedia files. Let's move back to our presentation. So when we looked at the journal, we realized that, in terms of support, we are providing professional design, language support, hosted model, complies with Scopus technical requirements. We also had a quick look where we showed you that, sorry about this, where you can see that there has been, we show you full featured images. You can streamline video and audio. You can have Twitter plugins. You can have threaded comments. We allow you to have widgets, which enables visitors to actually leave a comment for your article. So there are some more examples here. We can quickly look at one of these examples where we will show you how the video is being captured in the article. So this is a video. This is for first aid kit for college mental health. This is the abstract here, and you can see the video, which will streamline. And if I play it, it will play here immediately. So, yeah. So this is some of the quick features which are there, which helps us to present the journal in a most professional way to the audience. Now I spoke about all the features that we have. Now, to enable you to understand what does it translate, what is the outcome, I brought to you a case study. This is a case study of a journal, International Journal of Religious Tourism and Pilgrimage. This is an institutional-led journal which came from Dublin University in Ireland. It was born in Digital Commons, and it took 5 years, and then it got indexed in Scopus. This acclaimed publishing program at this university has placed 13,000 papers online, and it has achieved more than 7.6 million downloads along the way. Let's have a quick look at this journal homepage. So while the site is opening, let me do a better introduction of this journal. So this International Journal of Religious Tourism and Pilgrimage, it is a high-quality international open access online, double-blind, reviewed publication, which deals with all aspects of religious tourism and pilgrimage. The International Journal of Religious Tourism and Pilgrimage, it was founded in 2013 by an international group of researchers from that university. All articles in this journal are full text and available on open access. The journal takes an interdisciplinary international approach and includes all aspects of religious tourism and pilgrimage. This is the readership map of the journal. So we have seen that it has 268 papers. So far, it has received more than 2 million downloads. This is the real-time download which you are seeing on this map. This map also comes with a feature, embed feature. So if you want to embed this map externally to any website, you would be able to do that. You can see the editorial papers, the academic papers, the case studies, which are very nicely presented here. You can see the editorial board of the journal, the aims and scopes, which are very well defined. You have notes for contributors, and we have publication ethics and malpractice statement, which is here. And this journal, after it was born in Digital Commons, which was launched in Digital Commons, it got indexed in Scopus, and it is right now, the site score in 2018 was 0.27. So we are now at that point of the journal when the journal is launched. Now what we need to know and understand is how the journal is managed. So what is the backend? What is the backend that is supporting the workflow of the journal publishing process? For Digital Commons, we support you with a very easy to use editorial management and peer review tool. This tool offers you with a fully online workflow that increases the speed of the review process and simplifies the editorial process for editors, reviewers, and authors. This workflow is customizable according to different roles of the editors that you want them to have. They have all the functionalities in place to enable you to have double-blind or single-blind peer review process. This improves the peer review process by tracking manuscripts, automatically emailing appropriate reminders, and providing a mechanism for anonymous correspondence between reviewer and author. We have a history of working with various editors, And because of that experience, we have created this highly refined editorial management workflow, offering flexibility and enhanced efficiency. Editors have a number of tools such as reviewer reports, data on time to submission, and status queues, enabling quick understanding of the status and advertisement of the next decision. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take you live on the back end. So where we will go right now, it is actually our demo site. So I will show you a demo site to give you a quick glimpse of how the backend looks like. So this is the demo site that we have where we kind of demonstrate the backend of the journal. So I'll do a quick login here. So now what we are going to do is we are going to look at this journal. So Journal of Emerging Mineral Layered Assets. We go to Manage Submission, okay? So before we do that, let me quickly share with you that if you enter as an author and you want to submit your manuscript, you would probably click on Submit Research. And this is the kind of template which will be given in front of you where you add your titles, your author, date, and all these details. And this particular file that you're seeing in front of you, that is fully customizable. So depending on how you want to create it, what would be of interest to you, you can customize this file depending on the policies you have for the journal submission. Now, and as an editor, when you log into the journal as to manage the submission, you come here. And this is what I was telling you. Here you have this editor dashboard, which helps you to understand and have a quick view of what is happening to the articles which are being submitted. When was it last assigned? What was the date of the last event? Is it still waiting for the editor? So these red dots help you to understand and have a quick look to check, okay, is this article still waiting for the editor? Is it for me to take some action? Is it with the reviewer? So it gives you a very good idea in a one snapshot. Automatically, you can see the not yet published documents, but if you want, you can change it to published, rejected, withdrawn, whichever types of articles you want to look at. And you can see all the submission, or you can choose whether you want to see the submissions which are waiting for editors or which are waiting for any of the review process. You choose one of the titles. So I choose this title. When you choose this title, you come here, you have all the submission metadata. You are able to see what was happening here. You can look at the history of this title, which tells you that, if there has been any changes recommended, if the editor has sent any information, you have this in front of you. You have all the reviewers here. So if you want to add new reviewers, so this is you can choose reviewers you want. You can enter new reviewer. You can have a master list of reviewers, or you can have somebody from your previous author list to be added as a reviewer. And this is your reviewer status key. So it gives you an idea how your interaction with the reviewer had been, whether the reviewer has replied immediately, or he has been waiting on the message that you have sent and has not reverted back. So it is in front of you. This helps you to understand that how do you want to work with this reviewer in the next process. We also have methods to send automated reminders to the reviewers. This is the place where you can assign an editor. So you can choose from the list of editors, and you can select one of them, and then you can assign the editor. Okay, and this one has been assigned, and it is being sent to the editor with the information, and you have the data in front of you. You can decide on the configuration, which is the policy, which is journal configuration. You have all the basic settings here. What is interesting is, before this, I was showing you the front end of the journal. Now you are having a look at the back end of the journal. Everything that you were seeing, whether it was journal visibility, search engine optimization, you have the choice to customize it and include all this in this form. This is a form which can be further customized. Whenever you work with Digital Commons, you work with a consultant, and this consultant remains your contact throughout the time that you are subscribing to Digital Commons. Each journal workflow can be tailored to a granular level of permissions. Training is provided on an ongoing basis to new editors and other system administrators. And if you require a new workflow, your consultant will be able to make that necessary changes. Okay, so you can see all the different policy related information which is available here, which you can customize from editorial board, policies and guidelines, aims and scopes. Now, what is another thing which is very interesting here is that if your journal is already in any existing platform today, and you want to migrate the content from your existing platform to Digital Commons, we have tools to make it very simpler and easier. So one of the tool we have is a batch method. So this is a batch method, batch tool. So you can choose the batch Excel field. So for example, you download the field. So I will show you how it looks like. All you have to do is that you have to actually populate with the most primary information. So these required information needs to be filled up. So you fill it up with the title, the URL, the keywords, abstract. So you fill this form with all the information. Once you have filled it up, what you do is you browse it. So for example, I browse it. I use this. So this is probably a test. Then I open it and I upload. Once you have uploaded, it is at one shot that you are sending all the information. It takes close to around 4 to 6 hours of time, or depending on the amount of content that the file has, not more than 24 hours. And then you can have a look at the status of your batch here, which will let you know when you have submitted, what is the status, and if the items have been imported. When you subscribe to Digital Commons, our consultants work with you to help you manage this whole submission process and migration process. So this is how the backend, a very, very quick demo of the backend. To be very honest, demoing backend itself is one presentation. So this is what we showed you. We showed you that you can search for articles. The red dot tells you which article needs attention. You have a unique view for each editor. You can do batch upload or revise. This is what I had showed you in terms of batch uploading. So in Digital Commons publishing program, it has been designed for editors and institutions ready to take the next step in professionalizing your journal. As a participating journal, you benefit from professional publishing infrastructure and services which is previously reserved for only large publishers. So this online submission process, which is very simple and intuitive to use, helps you to take care of other aspects of the journal rather than getting involved in these logistics, because all this will be managed by Digital Commons. We don't just provide you the front end. So I showed you how the front end looks like for journal hosting. We have also complete submission system that lets editors fully manage their editorial process. We understand that journals have individual needs, and we have customizable workflows, unique views for editors, full reviewer management, reporting features to help you build efficiently and manage your journal most efficiently. So this was a quick summary of the editorial management tool that comes with Digital Commons that helps you to manage your journal. Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? Sorry about it. So what does that mean, having an access to a management system which is so simple to use, so easy to use? What does it offer you? So I wanted to share with you a case study. This is a case study from Kansas State University. They have a publishing arm which is known as New Prairie Press. Now this New Prairie Press was actually having all of the content on OJS platform, and they migrated from OJS to Digital Commons. Now what happened after that? What did they achieve once they migrated from OJS to Digital Commons platform? Let's first have a quick look at this site, which is New Prairie Press from Kansas State University. As the site opens, let me quickly introduce to you what is New Prairie Press and what did they achieve. So this is the publishing arm of Kansas State University in US, and they had 23 journals and 7 open textbooks and a number of conferences, monographs, special publications. And they wanted to achieve higher visibility for their journals. They described their service as a full spectrum publishing platform. And with Digital Commons, what did they achieve was that in the first 2 years itself, they actually surpassed 1 million downloads. Today, they have 2 million downloads. Now, all of this was not there when they were with OJS platform. And moreover, the OJS did not have the right analytical tool or the visualization tool to help them understand how was the reach of these journals articles. Editors and site administrators have the ability to define reviewer, copy editor, and other roles, as well as manage revision process using the backend system. And this provided New Prairie Systems infrastructure with a very stable mechanism to maintain and manage their journal process. One of their former directors, he believed that once they shifted from OJS to Digital Commons platform, they were able to do things differently. What made this particular platform successful for them was when editors started to see that their journals, how the performance of the journals are measured, and that they have a complete transparent look at the performance of the articles, more and more editors were interested to publish with Digital Commons. And in his own words, he says that faculty are amazed by the amount of people they can see are reading their work and actively use the dashboard to see potential industry partners and other schools that are adapting their textbooks. It's very important that when you do some work and you publish some work, for you to know how that work is performing. And with Digital Commons, with various tools, I was only able to show you the readership map now. In the following slides, I'll be showing you more tools like the dashboard and the author readership reports, which actually enables the editors to have a very deep understanding on the performance of their journals and articles. This is also a quick example from BYU, which is Brigham Young University, where they also, what they did was they migrated their journals from OJS to Digital Commons platform. And what does one of the administrator, she has to say is Mandy Oskaran. She says that the submission process the backend was very simple to use. It had less fields, it had less screens, and it was very easy and seamless and intuitive. Because of that, there was more number of involvement and more encouraging response that they received from various editors. With all this information, I think it is very important to understand where are we different? How are we different? I know that all of you are very familiar with OJS. So I thought I'll take this opportunity to quickly highlight some 5 key points of advantages that Digital Commons offer on top of OJS. Firstly, there is no maintenance for you, and you have an extensive support from us. When you work with Digital Commons, you have a dedicated team of consultants who work with you, support you, train you, and help you with the implementation process. It has better quality workflows. I have already shown you the workflow, and it is very simple and very easy to use, and it has all the different functionalities to actually empower the editors. Third most important part is global visibility. Today, throughout the session, I heard everyone talk about how you want to improve your journal visibility. It's very important and it's very exciting to share that with Digital Commons, this is very easy to achieve because we have a dedicated team of people who are working on the algorithm to make sure that anything which is published on Digital Commons is exposed to industry-leading search engine optimization and achieves web discoverability, which in turn brings in global visibility. You have access to tools which helps you to understand and have better understanding on what is the impact that your research is doing across the different research communities. In publishing, we provide 3 different tiers of services, which I'll be introducing to you later. And among them, in the premier and the professional service, we also provide strategic guidance to help you make sure that your journal is prepared and ready to get indexed in Scopus, Web of Science, or any other ANI databases. We spoke about journal launching. We spoke about the back-end management of the journal. Now, most important part is, how do you make your journal better? How do you improve the quality of your journal? And in that aspect, how does Digital Commons help you? So very quickly, we have summarized it in 3 points. We have dedicated development, dedicated support, and we have unlimited content. Let's look at dedicated development. So within dedicated development, we have teams who work closely with you to make sure that your journal management platform is successfully managed and it delivers the result that you aspire to achieve for your journal. We have a dedicated software team, product team, web designer team, which works with you to professionalize your journal. We work with government organizations, and that's why cybersecurity is very important. We have built an IT infrastructure and have included all the latest technical information and technical details to make sure that your site is well protected from any kind of cyber attacks. It is hosted in a cloud, so it is scalable, it is turnkey. Your involvement with the IT department is very, very minimal. We have a dedicated support, and this is so important. We have a dedicated consulting team who works with you, trains all the editor, prepares you to launch your journal, creates all the custom metadata and the workflows for you. And these are not with any additional charges. This is part of the package. And because it is hosted in a cloud, it has unlimited storage and unlimited file sizes. We have 99% uptime. The journals, because the journal is hosted in the cloud, this journal is hosted in the cloud. That's why you are able to, it is scalable, and all the contents are actually, there is no limitation to the content which are stored in the for the journal. Every journal benefits from the partnership and guidance of the consulting service team. So I was talking to you about our consulting service, right? So our dedicated consulting service, what do they do for you? They have been working for last 15 plus years with 600 plus customers, and they provide great support. Some of the key roles that they help you with are, they are involved in the implementation, tech support, project management, and planning. The team and the model is there to free the customer's time to address what is truly important, which is support scholars and scholarship, advance the big picture goals of the institutions and journals. At any point of time, the consultants work with 15 clients. So you can imagine that you have a dedicated support from these consultants, and they help you completely with project management, with best practices. And because they have worked with so many editors, they can share their best practices with you. In terms of our publishing services, very quickly, we have 3 different tiers of services that we offer to the editor community. While the core DC platform and model provides journal with a strong basis for success, we also offer additional publishing services for journals that are ready to take the next step towards professionalization and strategic development. So we have DCPS professional tier and DCPS premier tier. So in professional, we provide you with support with ISSN registration, DOI, feeds to indexes, and discovery layers, archiving in Clocks and Portico. For the premier service, we provide everything which professional provides, plus we also support you with typesetting, strategic advising, journal impact reports, and so on. In terms of designing, it's very important to make sure that it broadcasts the credentials and build the journal brand. So when we design your journal, we keep that in mind. Our teams work with you to build designs that show off your credentials and help you build your brand. Whether you are an experienced editor or you are just starting off, we have templates which can be customized, and we have designs that show off what readers and authors need to know about your journal. So we make sure that we highlight credentials. You have easy to find policy pages, clearly visible current content. We have branded PDFs to make sure that everything is very professionally managed for you. We showed you the readership map, right? Along with these readership map, we also equip editors with other tools that help them to understand what is the value that their journal and the content that they are publishing is creating in the global research community. Digital Commons offers full suite of impact tools, including real-time download maps on journal homepages and automated monthly readership report emails. And I believe none of this is actually available on OJS. The real-time maps and emails are very unique to Digital Commons metrics and reports. The real-time readership maps offers a very compelling visualization of global impact. The monthly individual readership statistics are sent automatically to authors. We have a journal impact dashboard with dozens of metric views. You can understand from which country the readership is coming, from what type of organization the readership is coming. And a similar kind of dashboard we also offer to the authors so that they can look and deep dive into the impact metrics for their work. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly show you how these dashboards look like, okay? So this is a very interesting part because I love to show the dashboards. Whenever I have shown these dashboards, I have seen that everybody loves the details that this dashboard captures in terms of the journal performance. So very quickly, this is a journal, which is Australian Journal of Teacher Education. And what you are looking at is the dashboard is showing you the readership map. So if you see this readership map, you see these numbers, these different colors. They are actually attributed to the type of organization that is reading the content from this journal. We are currently looking at all time. So this journal came on board with Digital Commons in 2008. So we are looking at it for the all time. But if you want, you can actually filter the time period for which the dashboard you want to see. You can also filter the type of content within the journal that you want to see. Here we can see the institution. So for this particular journal, 68% of the readership is coming from education accounts, and we have 21% coming from commercial organization. This is another way to help you to do collaborative work. So let's look at the commercial organization. So which are the commercial organization which is reading articles from this journal? And we have one of the big brand names here, which is Unilever. When you deep dive further down, you actually are able to see which are the articles that they were reading and how many times have they been downloaded. When you come down, you are also able to look at the country report. So although this journal has been published in Australia, no wonder we have the highest readership coming from Australia, but you also have readership, and we also see Indonesia here, which is reading articles from this. So you can look at which are those articles that from Indonesia that people are reading and how many times have they been downloaded. This is the heat map for you to understand more details. And this is where you have the Google Analytics to understand where the traffic is coming from. And most of the time, we see that more of the traffic comes from google.com. So this is the level of, deeper level of understanding that we provide you. And this kind of dashboards are offered not only to the editors, but we also provide these dashboards to the authors. So authors can also have their own customized dashboard, which is very personalized for them. We now go back to the presentation again. I promised you that I wouldn't just show you, but I will also relate it with a live example. So it's very important to understand that how have we contributed in improvement of a journal. And in this regard, I want to share with you this particular journal, which is the qualitative report. This journal is indexed in Scopus from 2009, and it has been year on year performing greatly. The journal started its journey with Digital Commons in 2006. So from 2006 until 2009, we worked with making this journal professionally more beautiful, after which it was possible for the journal to get indexed in Scopus. So have a quick detail on the journal as we look at the journal site is that this journal was launched in 1990 by Nova Southern University. So it's a university-led journal, and it migrated to Digital Commons in 2006. And in 2009, it was indexed in Scopus, as I told you. It has a site score of 1.14. It is ranked 80 among 880 different other journals across its field, which is in cultural studies. Here you can see you will be able to see the real-time download as well. They have a readership map here, which tells you how the journal has been performing and capturing audience in various fields. They have more than 2,000 plus papers, and it has huge number of viewership. It provides a very compelling visualization of global impact. And these are all the real-time downloads which are happening for this journal. You can see that they have also linked it with their SGR metric here, so you can see that it is in the quartile 1 journal. You will be able to share using these tags which are here in the journal. You also have different special issues of the journal, which is listed here. We can also look at some of the most popular papers of this journal. So let's click at one of the popular papers. And because every paper has been rolled with a Plumx metric, it helps you to understand a full impact that this work is done. So it has received a huge number of downloads. Okay, it has been tweeted, it has comments, it has likes. Let's look at the Plumx dashboard. This looks very interesting to me. So you can see that they have, Plumx gives you information not just on citation, but it helps you to look at any article from an alternative perspective. So you will be able to see that, you have other metrics like it captures social media, the usage, the mentions, all of these details here. They also have a Creative Commons license here. Okay, and I told you about PDF reader. So you can see the PDF reader, which actually opens, and in the page itself, you can read the full article, which is embedded on this particular journal page for this particular article. We have seen this. I've shown you how the Plumx works, what it captures. As I told you, that Plumx metrics, it provides insights into the ways people interact with individual piece of output, which means, it could be book chapters, it could be articles, it could be reviews, and it gathers and brings together appropriate research metrics for all types of scholarly research output. It captures data in 5 categories: usage, captures, citations, mentions, and social media.
Sorry, Priyanka, you have 5 minutes?
Oh, okay. Thanks.
It's okay. It's okay.
So very quickly, so this is the dashboard of the journal. So, it captures the readership details. So you have more than 50,000 plus institutions. We have 234 plus countries and references, which has come for this journal. This is very quickly, I have tracked the journey of a journal, which is Australian Journal of Teachers Education. I've tried to see that from the time it was not in Digital Commons to the time it moved to Digital Commons, how did this journal perform? So when it was not in Digital Commons, this journal had very less research output, citation, and views count, which is during the period from 1996 to 2009. The journal moved to Digital Commons in 2010. And here what we see, that journal has made a steep increase in terms of its performance. It has more than 900 scholarship output. You have 16,000 plus views. It has left all its peers behind to actually become one of the very good journals in its own category. In terms of improvement, we have seen that journals which are indexed in Scopus, even when they move from their existing platform to Digital Commons, there is a 6% average increase in terms of the citation performance. We work very closely to make sure that we enable you to achieve visibility. So we provide you with web discoverability and search engine optimization. And you can see that year on year, all the journals and all the different types of content which are published on our platform has actually seen a very high growth in terms of references coming from Google and Google Scholar. This is a quick example of from Uzbekistan Ministry of Education. They trusted Digital Commons with their journals. So they created a platform where they host 41 journals. This ministry, all these journals, they wanted to make it open access. They wanted to have visibility. The outcome was amazing. All 41 journals got live. They got, more than over 27,000 global readers in the first 6 months itself. It achieved internationalization and journal professionalization. I'm just at the end of the presentation. So very quickly, the journals which are hosted on Digital Commons have been indexed in some of these top ANI databases. And we make sure that in terms of technical qualification, when your journal is hosted on Digital Commons, the way our infrastructure is designed, we comply with most of the mandates that are highlighted by databases like Scopus and Web of Science, and we match the criteria, so we comply with them. So technically, we make sure that we prepare your journal ready to make sure that it can apply for these databases. This brings me to the end of my presentation, and I hope none of you are yawning and sleeping. So thank you so much for your patience. These are my contact information if you want to know more about Digital Commons. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thanks, Priyanka. It was very wonderful presentation. Before I give you some question from the participant, let me give some remarks, as very important remarks for the participant, so he get interested to the Digital Commons. Actually, Digital Commons have like advantages over the OJS. Yeah. So you can see in that presentation that it will give you very better journal management for that one, as well as the improvement. And the important thing that discoverability or the indexation in the recognized databases. Yeah. Okay. There is two questions actually. From Ibu Nur Hidayah. Yeah. The question is the services of Digital Commons free or not? If not, how much is it?
It is not free, subscription based.
Okay.
And
All right.
I'd like to take the pricing question offline. So, I would be very happy if they can contact any of us from LP. And yeah.
Oke. Baik Ibu Nur Hidayah, jadi Digital Commons itu tidak gratis, ya, tapi basis dari subscription, jadi berlangganan, mungkin bayarnya tiap tahun. Jadi kalau Ibu tertarik, silakan kontak Miss Priyanka yang tadi sudah diberikan di akhir slide itu, alamat email dan kontak namanya lah gitu ya. Okay, there is other question, Priyanka, sorry. How is the procedure to join in the Digital Commons?
It's a subscription-based product. So I request that once you're interested, if you write to us, we can help you. Yes.
Okay. Jadi sekali lagi Bu Nur Hidayah ya, Digital Commons itu berbasis subscription. Jadi kalau tertarik, silahkan sekali lagi kontak Miss Priyanka. Okay, another question is from Ibu Dewi Nurul Mostari. Yeah. How develop and strategy to get the standing journal? I don't know if it is sweet for you. Yeah. Would you like to answer that question? Probably regarding to the Commons Digital, what is the role for Commons Digital to develop and to help the journal to get the standing journal?
Yeah, so yes, I would love to take this, and I welcome my colleagues as well to share their opinions. So, the way digital commons has been structured, we support the right from the beginning until the end in terms of professionalizing the journal. So we make sure that the journal is ready to for the professional research community in terms of branding, design, layout, presentation. That is one aspect. The next aspect is we make sure that we equip all the editors with a very simple management tool so that they can manage the review process. They can make it automated. So they have a very robust review management method. That is another aspect. Now, next is, we help them to make it international. We provide them with web discoverability, search engine optimization. We have a dedicated consulting team to support them to manage the journal in the platform with any customization. And with the tools that we support them, which is the readership map, the dashboard, we make them aware on the performance. So they can create their own reports and be aware with metrics to understand how the journal is performing. And if they find that the journal is not performing, they are at least aware and they can work better in terms of making the journal more improved. So I think we are there with them. We partner with journals at every field and every phase of the journal's journey.
Okay. Okay. One more question. This is more technical. It is from Pak Wardiono from Yarsi University. He is the editor-in-chief of Jurnal Ilmu Perpustakaan dan Informasi. The question is, does Digital Commons support open access, open archive initiative, OAI, PMH protocol?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And 97% of the content on Digital Commons are actually open access content.
Alright, okay. Jadi Pak Wardiono support OAI PMH protokol ya, silakan kalau mau berlangganan ya. Okay, that's the question. I think I will give some other remarks for this presentation. I like the story of journal. Okay, what you present. The first one is launch a new journal management and journal improvement, internationalization and discoverability, and the last one is indexation in recognized databases. So everyone is happy if the journal will be indexed in Scopus especially. Okay, once again, thank you very much for wonderful presentation. Please join me to give applause to Ms. Priyanka. Okay, virtually applause, yeah. Thanks. Okay, I will return to Mrs. Hardiana. Yes, saya kembalikan Bu Dian. Terima kasih banyak. Kurang lebihnya mohon maaf pada bapak-bapak dan ibu-ibu yang sudah bergabung pada acara editorial ini. Ya, saya akhiri. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And good afternoon.